It is episode 135.
That's a good number.
We're Matt
And Suzie.
here at Suzilla.
Welcome to Suzilla. You are visiting with us here at Suzie Health Solutions, Wenatchee Insurance, here in Wenatchee, Washington.
413 North Mission Street.
Yes, indeed. And welcome to April 20th.
420.
Yes, that too.
So we're going to talk about business.
Well, we always talk about business.
Yeah, but what if all the stereotypes around business were true?
Okay, such as?
That, everyone is out for themselves. The boss is exploiting all the workers who are quiet quitting. All the customers are going to go to the other guy down the street because he's cheaper. What if they're all true?
Well, then, they're not stereotypes then. They're just truisms.
No, because there's truth to some stereotypes.
Okay. So then the question is it necessarily a bad thing? I guess. I mean, just because it is doesn't mean it has to stay that way. We know that.
Well, you can't control what the other person's doing, but
No.
you control what you do.
Yes. So you make the best business you've got. You don't have to toe that line.
And that's what this is all about. It's building a black sheep business.
Starting from there. Hey, did you see that article about the CEO who got caught on her Zoom call saying you can visit you can visit Pityville, but you shouldn't stay there because they needed to make her managers were asked if they were going to make their bonus this year, and she was all bent out of shape because they were wanting to know if they were going to make any money.
No, I didn't see that one.
You'll have to take a look at that one because it's kind of in that same vein.
It could be. I was over in Insurance Soup the other day, and people were like, the question was presented. It's like, with today's hard market, who's exiting their career?
Oh yeah, I mean, in the P&C market, because it is difficult right now.
Well, yeah. No, it was not posed as PNC.
Oh, well, I was kind of assuming it was because there's been the whole conversation in our office about how it's been the hardest market in 40 years.
Why, yes, it's been the hardest market. However, we also know that leads to more shoppers, which leads to more people coming to our doorstep.
Right, because we have set up for variety rather than monolining.
Yeah, and if we look at the life health side of things, we've written 90% of the policy count from last year, this year.
Yeah, well, within the next, we're 4 months in, almost 5 months in. By the time we're done with June, we should be equivalent of what we wrote in 2022 and well into the next round. We're gonna exceed. We're gonna definitely increase what we wrote last year.
Yeah, so we waded through it, and I know there are people who are in that marketplace that are struggling.
Oh yeah.
We've went out of our way to build something different.
Right. And that's why we're still succeeding, is because we didn't follow the quote rules.
Yeah, because it's the walk in the door, and it's like, this is different.
Yeah. Well, you've said it before. You never wanted to build a business where you walked in the door and all you smelled was musty old books and saw the same old oak furniture and the same old. We were never a same old kind of business.
No,
never. I mean, we tried for about 2 minutes, but it just didn't work. I mean, for just a little while there, Matt was actually wearing jackets and button-down shirts.
Yeah, listen to district managers.
Yeah, and khakis.
Khakis. Gotta have khakis.
Khakis.
And yeah, it was the lowest amount of growth we've ever seen. It was.
To be fair, it was the very, very beginning, so it was build time. But when we started really finding our own voice, is when we really started to succeed. It's when our business really started to get some growth.
Yeah, and there was there was weird things like teamwork involved.
Oh yeah, that we weren't working against each other, we're working with each other. That's one of the problems sometimes you run into when you've got different producers in the same offices. They start competing, and it's fostered. The competition with each other is fostered, and what you end up with, in my opinion, is people not working together to take care of their clients, but working against each other because they want to grab that last commission.
Yeah, they're commission grubbing,
and that's not healthy for the client.
And one of the classic things that is fostered by it at the insurance company level is they will pay bonuses based on individual performances instead of agency bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Which again fosters a. I guess the theory is it lights a fire under that specific agent or broker. But it doesn't really foster teamwork.
It doesn't foster teamwork, and it doesn't foster teamwork is the basis for community. So it doesn't foster community. So what are you doing? You're tearing apart things to for the dollar.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why we're a black sheep is the dollar is not our bottom line.
Never has been.
No. And where other businesses, the dollar is their bottom line. We've always, because we don't charge broker fees, which we are legally allowed to do, we choose not to. We chose not to from the very, very beginning, and move forward with that theory that it's all about taking care of the clients and making sure they have the right policy. And if we get income from the insurance companies, then all the better for it. And it's worked. It's worked well for us. Other companies are all about growth in the dollars, growth in the bottom line from squirreling away every little penny. And if you can't meet the quarterlies, the shareholders will be upset and you won't get your bonus. And it's not about the people, it's about the money.
Yeah, and money should just be a byproduct.
Yeah, I agree. It's just we've got such a weird attitude about it. It's kind of hard for us to sometimes it's kind of hard to reconcile how the world how the United States feels about it versus how we feel about it, and we kind of have to shoehorn a little bit into making it work for day-to-day stuff.
Well, we don't talk, it's considered rude and in play to talk about how much you make.
Well, yes, it has been in the past, although that is slowly changing.
You're not supposed to, find out what the person in the next cubicle is making
because that makes the boss look bad.
Yeah.
Although it used to be that you could get fired for talking about your salary. That's not legal anymore. Like I said, slowly it's changing.
Well, just because it's not legal on paper doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Well, I know there's ways, but you can, what I'm getting at is you are not prohibited. You cannot be prohibited. Yes, you can be, punished in different manners for it, but you cannot be legally prohibited. But the fact that things like Glassdoor and
What do you mean by Glassdoor?
Glassdoor is a website where you can do basically wage shopping.
Okay.
And the fact that you're seeing just a little bit more transparency with wages. And one of the things I think that's kind of helping a little bit when you're on a hourly or salaried basis. When you're commissioned, it's a totally different monster. But one thing that we're always really clear about is if, hey, yeah, I'm going to get a commission from the insurance company. Oh, it'll be $25, or yeah, it'll be $600, or yeah, it'll be $34 or 37 cents. People want to know what we make. We'll tell them.
That question in the last year and a half has come to a forefront.
How do you get paid?
How do you get paid?
I get that a lot because I get people, and I have people asking, well, how, well, what do I owe you? You don't owe me anything. Well, how do you get paid? well, I get paid from the insurance companies on a commission basis. I let the big companies pay me. That's kind of how I frame it. It's like, because it's you and me against them.
It is. Yeah. It really is. And that's what most people don't understand is an insurance agent, it's our job to advocate for our clients in their best possible position.
Right. We are not employees of the insurance company. We are not working in the insurance company's best interest. We're working in your best interest. And if you've got somebody who's selling you a policy that's not working in your best interest, you don't want to be working with them.
You find out quickly.
It's true.
One of the things we're finding out is there are people who are going definitely for that commission. And you look at it, and it's like, well, this house is undervalued by $50,000.
And I've seen garbage policies. It's like someone just sold it for their commission or sold it for their price because of price, instead of actually selling what's appropriate for the client. Yeah. Like, well, this one has a higher commission, so I'm going to sell this one instead.
Or this one gets me closer to a bonus.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
I've seen that one. Because one of the things is we study a lot of the different companies around us and what they're offering, so we can bring to bear different things. We often know what companies they're using, or they've got access to.
That's correct.
So if someone is, some independent agents out there, suddenly says, "Oh, well, hey, I can't offer you, Progressive or some of the more common ones that are out there in the independent world and under like Trusted Choice and some of the other aggregators." It's really evidence like, oh, okay, they're looking for something else.
They're chasing a bonus with Travelers or something.
Yeah, and the easiest way to look at it is like, okay, well, I know you got this. Well, what's the price of policy in there? And that's knowing on your agent.
Yes.
We're finding some discrepancies in our kind of our exchange quota, and what we're doing is we're running multiple quotes across multiple systems, just to make sure that we're dialed into the lowest price or the best policy. And that takes time.
It does.
Just point blank, that takes time. But that's teamwork. That's us looking over each other's shoulder and figuring out what's going on. And it's different. When we design this, it's like, okay, yeah, we want the office to all be profitable. We want everyone to be able to go home. And that's a very different concept in the commission world.
It is. Commissions have always been very cutthroat, because if I make it, you don't. That's the theory there. And that's not how we operate around here. So because we are operating in a black sheep business kind of manner, what does that mean for what does our competition think of us? Because we're operating from a different model than they are.
No, often you don't have principals that are running the day-to-day operations. You might see them out on the golf course.
Oh yeah.
We don't like to golf.
No.
You might see them on fabulous trips. Yeah, we jump in the car and we see America. So it's very different structures in how we live our life.
But what did they even think of us? Or are we still flying under their radar?
Some are, some aren't. You can start to see. I'm starting to see panic in a couple of areas. Okay. I'll see more ads.
Okay, yeah.
They're trying in the social media space.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen that too.
I've seen it on Google AdSense.
Okay.
They're doing the keyword searches. You'll see them, do those positionings that make it difficult for professionals to get into play. They'll try to ice out the competition.
Okay. We don't try to ice out our competition.
Oh, heck no. We actually welcome welcome our peers to operate on a peer level.
Mhm.
I've had our landlord was a good example. Was like, oh, well, I'll make sure that no other insurance agents come into play. And I'm like, I don't care.
Mhm.
Really don't.
I appreciate that. The gesture, though, that was very nice. That was very kind of them.
It's why?
Well, I appreciate the gesture because when our landlord said that, they were trying to protect our interests, or what they perceive to be our interests, and then therefore keep us in their. If another insurance agency moved in down at the end, and we had direct competition 2 doors down, it's possible she might lose us as a tenant. So there's multiple layers there.
Well,
I think they were just trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for?
How about they're operating that stereotype?
Yeah, but we don't. So, but again, from somebody who works from old school rules, that was a very kind gesture. Was that a necessary gesture? Because they didn't know how we ran our business.
Oh,
so I'm just appreciating it, dear.
Okay, appreciate
I'm
it.
not saying that I'm not saying there was any malice involved there.
Well, I'm not saying there's malice.
I know you're not.
I'm saying that there is an embracing of coddling that weakness.
Okay.
Whereas we look at it as like, oh, hey, you're a peer, awesome. What do you have? How can I improve myself by offering something that is superior?
Okay, I see where you're going.
Steel sharpens steel, and that's something. That's something that is, if you're really getting capitalistic, you want strong competition.
Well, one of the things you might be running into is agencies that have been around for a long time run complacent. They just sort of truck right along with their book of business and don't actually do anything to improve the way they improve their skills, improve their setups at all, their outreach, their client management, any of it. Maybe because the agent's starting to get ready to retire and they're not interested in doing anything besides writing out the last few years. Now, we do have some younger agents who've started up agencies in the last 10 years that are a lot more cutting edge. And I'm welcome, and that's the steel sharpens steel feel. Whereas others, not so much.
Well, I think some of that also leans out to those groups, the BNIs, the referral groups.
Yeah,
because you really let's.
I zinged it, didn't I?
You zinged it last night.
Did I hit all the points? I missed. I was soft pedaling.
You were. Here's the thing: referral groups work for some businesses. Okay. We're part of a large Facebook group for insurance agents called Insurance Soup. And one of the quizzes there was posed was how many of you belong to a referral group, and how much a month commissions are you making?
Yeah.
And it was shocking because no one of any significance of writing business was in one of those referral groups.
No.
Their time was better spent elsewhere. However, 10 years, 12 years ago, that was kind of like the standard.
Oh, yeah. Well, this BNI, Business Something International, it's like the PTA. You have to pay to join it. You have to pay dues.
Yeah.
You have to. It's some sort of weird club thing going on. If you don't bring referrals, you get demerits. It's bizarre.
And it's
not teamwork.
It's not teamwork. It's not doing referrals like you should be doing. I've got a freaking old school Rolodex. Like someone walks in here. Oh, I need a financial advisor. I got like 5 of them here.
Yeah, you have some cards. Go talk to some folks.
Go talk. These are good folks. I've talked to them multiple times. I need a mortgage lender. Here, go use this person.
Mm-hmm.
I need a realtor. Here, go use this person.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that has been doing business more than 2 years should have some referrals.
Mm-hmm. You don't find, and if you find your referral partner in a BNI group,
Is it genuine?
It's not genuine because you're not paying for experience. Okay, so what we've got when we have a referral partner, it's somebody that we've talked to, somebody that we've worked with for one reason or another, and we just make those connections. And so it's a personal one-on-one conversation versus, okay, we're in our breakfast meeting having our little donut and our cup of bad coffee, and I assign you your referral partner. And you might not have any chemistry with them. They might not know anything about what you do, but it's like, oh, okay, well, if somebody needs health insurance, I guess I should send them there. And there's just no passion.
It's not because I like you; it's because you're in my group.
Yeah, and that's not genuine, and the clients can tell.
And it's not because you are doing super awesome business for me. It's because you're in my group.
Uh-huh. Because if I don't do this, I'll get a demerit.
And a good example is that Facebook local group. I think I'm up over 2,000.
Yeah, it's amazing how that's grown, just sort of accidentally.
And yeah, I kick out the people who aren't local.
Yeah.
He
watches for spammers. I love that about Matt.
Yeah, and if someone's just hammering that, hey, this is the one thing that I do, and I'm going to post it every other day. Yeah, I put them on snooze.
Mm-hmm. Just chill out for a little while.
It's like, hey,
we're not your personal billboard.
Yeah, you can pay for that advertising. This is free. This is a community. Change up your message a little bit. Change your images. Mm-hmm. A little bit of talk goes a long way. Mm-hmm. Offer different things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I'm not talking, offer taco versus burrito. No. But it's you've got to have that variety, and it cruises right along.
Mm-hmm. And people seem to respond well to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If there's been a couple points where someone's gotten nasty because they didn't approve of someone else's small business, and I'm like, no, this is promoting small business and services. If you want to go nasty, you can go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So I'm protective of who's in there.
Yeah. Because they're vetted. Everyone in there has been vetted.
Yeah. No one can post with an account less than a year old. Mm-hmm. It's very, it's protected. It's taken years, and the honest truth is I picked up the ownership of that because everyone else left years ago. Yeah.
It sort of just landed in your lap.
Yeah.
And you've grown it since then, and it's a pretty decent little tool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
So it's like, okay, I can go and do the spend my money on the 30 risks, or I can have fun with an actual genuine local group of people who wants to be there.
Mm-hmm. Who wants to be there? That's pretty key.
Yeah.
Now I think sometimes the BNI groups are not necessarily about business, but more it's social. I think sometimes I think maybe I've only ever.
Oh yeah,
you've got it's the social club feel.
Yeah, and you've got plenty of people scheduling their social club.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well,
but
it's like us scheduling callback times.
Yeah.
Or us scheduling family time.
Yeah.
You can schedule social time.
Yeah. That's okay.
But people have forgotten that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this has become a big evil BNI conversation. If you're going to schedule social time to network or just be with friends or be out there and about, then do it. You shouldn't be having we're a black sheep business, always have been. We don't toe the line. We don't fit the models. We've always been square peg round hole people.
Well, it's the concept. It's like, okay, where can you network? It's like any place that anybody in front of you that you can touch, you can network with.
Yeah.
Do you have business cards? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have logoed shirts? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a logo car? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you open your mouth? Yes. Mm-hmm. Networking is not a complex formula. It's
really not. It's just a matter of communicating with the people in your vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where you are. Well, no, it really doesn't matter where you are.
Nope.
But you do have to gauge whether or not it's appropriate. You're not necessarily wanting to be handing out life insurance quotes at a funeral. Although that's probably a pretty decent place for it. The gut feeling on that's a little raw.
Yeah, you got to be a bold person to be doing that. It's like, if someone, if you're at the funeral and someone's passing a hat to pay for it,
mm-hmm.
then you might want to have that conversation.
But you don't do it in the middle of the service.
No.
You might kind of. That's where you got to be careful and pick your moment.
Yeah, there's some discretions. It's like, the question, what do I do again?
Mm-hmm.
Just checking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're at the wake and that's when everyone's standing around having their cup of bad coffee and having a piece of cake. And
you've got a thing against bad coffee.
I do have a thing against bad coffee. I do. I have a horrible thing about it. Mm-hmm. Sitting around, having a cup of coffee and talking about who they are and how they know the deceased, and usually some sort of life insurance question comes up, and there's your window. Gently, you got to move very carefully with that, but it's definitely an opportunity. But you've got to know how to network carefully. You can't just start throwing your business card higgledy-piggledy in the middle of something like that.
No, but you can live yourself. You can live very purposefully.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to, if you do it, our business, Suzie Health Solutions and Wenatchee Insurance, is ingrained in us. It is a part of our life, not just our life, all of it. There are points when I don't necessarily want to be shouting from the rooftops, do you have your health insurance sorted out? And so I don't. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but our son can walk in the front door with a smile on his face.
Yeah, exactly.
Chill out, grab a soda.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Yeah. Because we're awesome.
We
created a space that is not a stereotype.
Yeah, and that's really what this is all about, is look at your business. Is it falling into, some sort of mean cloud surrounding a water cooler talking about last night's TV? Or is it you're talking back and forth and working on teams and doing things together, working on the next big project,
and supporting each other in so many different ways, and not just business but personal if it's appropriate.
Okay, you have this issue with appropriate.
It's not an issue.
No.
You don't want to cross. There are lines you sometimes don't want to cross because of the boundaries of the other person. That's what I mean. You don't.
That's not a question of appropriate.
Yeah, it is.
Appropriate is social protocol. It's not boundaries.
Okay. So
perceptions.
All right. So maybe being aware of your partner's boundaries is a better phrasing, But either way, that's neither here nor there.
Okay. So yes, you can build a black sheep business. If you do, people come in the door, they will recognize it. It's like, oh, this is different than there. It doesn't suck.
Build a business that doesn't suck and you will be successful.
So, hey, it might take time. but you can do it.
It can be done.
And so, hey, have a good week. We will talk with everyone next week on Suzie. Thursday morning AM, you catch the live show. If not, you can catch the repeats later on.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.